Islam, 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 family. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody's in high vibrational thought, peaceful, you know what I'm saying, and living a life of love. This platform is called the Sheik. On this platform is where we discuss law, Moorishe Law, sovereign law, which is the highest law of the land. Now, it might sound like I'm bragging or trying to boost up the Moors. I'm giving credit where credit has always been due. Okay? So, with that being said, I'm going to properly present myself. Now, let me take it back. First, I like to express that I am your host, Latif Obadike Il, here to discuss Moorishe Law, sovereign law, the highest law and authority on the land. Okay? And here today I will be reading from one of our ancient documents. And I'll get into that document ASAP. You know what I'm saying? It's what I'm going to begin with, and it's what I'm going to end with. And I'm going to read the document from the beginning to the end without any elaboration. Okay? Maybe another day, another time, we'll go over it again and I'll elaborate. Okay? All right. Empire State of Morocco. Universal Sovereign Original Indigenous Judicial Proclamation. I said Judicial Proclamation. Durand, Edward, Murrell, Bay. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereign, living, ancient, Article 3, Moorish American, Al-Moroccan, consular court action. Okay, I am sovereign, living, justice, Durand, Edward, Murrell, Bay, in capitis diminutio, nolo, in red ink, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. My free chosen national appellation is Ogunwole, Supreme 7 Solution Ill, in capitis diminutio, nolo, in red ink, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. I and all Moors are the original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American, ascendant of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original, indigenous, natural, divine, ancient empire state of Morocco and the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are one God. We hereby exercise all sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, non-pro-time. Okay. Upon my heirship, inherited nobility, and upon my private, original, indigenous, proper sovereign status and commercial presence, I, Durand Edward Murrell Bay, being duly affirmed and aligned with consanguine unity, affirm my national, political, and spiritual allegiance to my Moabite Moorish nation, being the I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce that, Archaic. I'm gonna have to look that up. But I spelled it, that word. Originally indigens of Ametsim, the Americas, standing squarely affirm upon my affirmation to the 5 points of light: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. do squarely affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and having knowledge and firmly established, knowing upon the historical, lawful, and adjudicated facts contained herein, being competent in propria persona sui juris to attest to this affidavit, upon which I place my sovereign autograph, whereas I state, proclaim, and declare the following to be true, correct, certain, complete, and not misleading, supreme, and not intended to be presented for any misrepresented color or improper use or purpose, to wit. Let me stop for a minute. I had a thought that I wanted to share and implement. Okay. Oh yeah. This document has been placed on the public record. Okay. That I, Durand Murrell, am a noble of the ancient Al-Moroccan Empire, North America, in capitis diminutio nolo, in red ink, in propria persona, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes, being Moorishe American and heir and ascendant of the ancient Moabites, Moors by birthright, by freehold, by primogeniture, and by inheritance, being original and indigenous to the land of Maxim, Americas, Earth, Gaia, McGrid, Territorium, herediments of my ancient Moabite, Moorish foremothers and forefathers, to wit. And put some of these on. Okay. The Al-Moroccan American continents are the lands of the Moors, being North America, South America, Central America, including the adjoining islands of Americana, of Murrell, Al-Morocc. I have, I acknowledge, I claim, I possess, by the said inheritance and primogeniture, the freehold status thereto, all unalienable and substantive rights to be, to enjoy, and to action distinct in government and consanguine nation of the natural people. In our relation with others, we command the enforcement of our Al-Moroccan Constitution. Thus, such organized communication and orders are referred to as the Empire State of Morocco. Contained within our great state is the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs, the free Moorish nation inclusive of all original indigenous tribes with S, and provinces of the national people, etc., are the rightful bearers of the attributes, appellations, and noble titles, Ali, Il, Bey, Day, and Al. The free Al-Moroccan Moors, Moors, by freehold inheritance, retain all substantive rights and immunities, enjoy the exercising of all substantive rights, and appear upon consummated right law. In sonomy, principles have pre-existing vested constitution and treaty secure rights and immunities from foreign, in all capital letters in black ink, United States Corporation Company, taxation, and from foreign criminal and civil jurisdiction by and of the colonial, in all capital letters in black ink, Union State Rights Republic, USA, private corporation, and in all capital letters, Black ink, United States Corporation Company persons, pursuant to, not limited to, divine right, the United States Republic Supreme Court, international law, and the acts of state to wit. Every sovereign state for and by the people is bound to respect the independence of every other sovereign state for and by the people, and the courts of one country people will not sit in judgment on the acts of the government of another, done within the same or her own territory. The past, in all capital letters in Black ink, Union State Municipal Codes, in all capital letters in Black ink, civil laws, and in all capital letters in Black ink, codes, previously appearing to be imposed upon the land, were in all capital letters in Black ink, private code, incorporated union of self-government established by the political powers of the General Assembly of each state of the Union, limited and bound by Article 4 and initiated at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, North America in the year 1854, it governs only the, in all capital letters in Black ink, Black people, in all capital letters in Black ink, Christians, and in all capital letters in Black ink, Jews, of the fraudulent 1863, in all capital letters in Black ink, Union States Republic, under the, all capital letters in Black ink, Magna Carta, the Great Charter, the, in all capital letters in Black ink, Knights of Columbus Code, and the, all capital letters in Black ink, Ku Klux Klan Oath, forever the said, in all capital letters in Black ink, Union States Rights Republic, denies citizenship in the, all capital letters in Black ink, United States USA, to the her descendants of the Moorish nation in the Western Hemisphere, who have been erroneously referred to, branded as, and mislabeled as, all capital letters in Black ink, Negroes, Blacks, Coloreds, and African American, Latinos, etc. In addition, the Supreme Court of the United States, in the landmark case of Dred Scott versus Stanford, 60 U.S. 19 Howard, 393, 1857, held that, in all capital letters in Black ink, Negroes, whether held to slavery or free, were not included and were not intended to be included in the category of citizens, in parentheses or brackets, subjects of the Union State Republic, which is in blue letters. Resultantly, the true indigenous nobles of the Almoravian Empire, free Moors, bearers of the attributes, appellation, noble titles, Ali, Il, Bey, Dey, and Al, are excluded from the, all capital letters in Black ink, Union State Republic, USA, jurisdiction. The true nobles of the Almoravian Empire are sovereign, private, and self-governed by right law, principles, and customs, and only obligated to the free Moor Zodiac Constitution. Circle 7, archaically, that's that word in the beginning, Archai, but in a different reflected form, Cally, established by our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Such extended allegiance and obligation includes the Great Seal and the high principles and morals, all standards embodied in the Moorish national flag, standards of love, true peace, freedom, and justice. The true Al-Moroccan nobles, indigenous of the land, maintain a constitutional, lawful, non-obligatory tax status and position relative to all foreign entity taxation, indigenous not taxed, in brackets, and maintain a non-obligatory respect for the Union State Rights Republic, USA, in lowercase, in brackets, all in blue letters. Union State Rights Republic, USA, in blue. Its members, its law, its ordinances, its codes, its customs, and its traditions pursuant to the free Moorish American Zodiac Constitution, Article 4 and 6, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and Morocco, 1787, superseded by the Treaty of 1836. Resolution 75, Journals of the House of Representatives, adopted for the United States, April 17, 1933 AD. Moorish American Nation of Philadelphia, in the use of their appellations, reaffirmations have been made via the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of the Child, General Assembly, Resolution 1386. That's 14 in brackets, 14 UNGAOR supplement number 16 at 19, United Nations document A 4354, 1959. The United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights, Article 15, General Assembly Resolution 217A, 3 of 10, December 1948 AD, Executive Order 13107, United States Republic, North America. The implementation of human rights treaties, the National Constitution for the Continental United States, Article 3, Section 2, Amendment 5, Liberty Clause, Amendment 9, Reservation of the Rights of the People, the United States Department of Justice, Moorish Credentials, Free Moorish Zodiac Constitution, Truth A1 Classified, the United States Copyright Certificate Number AA222141, Clock of Destiny, the Moorish Nationality and Identification Card, Moorish Science Temple, and Moorish Holy Temple of Science Identification Card, etc. Furthermore, I affirm and assert my full birthright, sovereignty, and substantive rights, and my rights of claim to all herediments, being a sundry free Al-Moroccan Moor, Murrell, and a national being distinguished from all and any spurious constructs created by the foreigners or by their agencies, pursuant to Moabite Moorish pedigree. The Free Moorish Zodiac Constitution, the Great Seal of the Moorish Nation, Antigua, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1786, 1787, 1836, the Sundry Free Moors Act of 1790, the 1781 Organic United States Constitution, the Moorish Federal Financiers Act, in brackets, Union State Army, 1861 and 1863, the 1854 Roman Catholic Magna Carta, the Knights of Columbus Code, the Ku Klux Klan Oath, the United Nations Charter, Article 55C, the Rights of Indigenous People, Part 1, Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Part 2, Article 6, the United States Supreme Court Acts of State, the Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act, 28 U.S.C. 1601, etc., sequa. The Convention on International Road Traffic, Day 19, September 1949, the World Court Decision, The Hague, Netherlands, Day 21, January 1958 AD, equal 1378 MC, in reference to the right of the natural peoples and of their substantive rights, etc. The following are pertinent and established Supreme Court decisions, stare decisis and res judicata, to wit. The first one, the right to travel, plus the right to mode of conveyance, the right to locomotion, are all absolute rights, and the police cannot make void the exercise of rights. State versus Amistad, 60 S 778, 779, and 781. The second point, the use of the highways for the purpose of travel, transportation, and teleportation is not a mere privilege, but a common and fundamental right of which the public and natural beings cannot be deprived. Chicago Motor Coach versus Chicago, 337 Illinois, 200, 169 NE 22, Lagar versus Chicago, 139, I think it's Illinois, ILL, 46, 20H, HE, 934, Boone versus Clark, 214 SW, 607, 25 AM JUR, AM space JUR, First Highway, Section 163. The third point, the right to part or travel is part of the liberty of which the natural being, citizen, cannot be deprived without due process of law under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. Kent versus Duels, 357 U.S. 116, 125. The fourth point, the right of a citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport one's property thereon, either by carriage or automobile, is not a mere privilege, which a city may prohibit it or permit at will, but a common right which he or she has under the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thompson versus Smith, 154 SE 579. Fifth point, state police power extends only to immediate threat to public safety, health, welfare, etc. Michigan versus Duke, 266 U.S. 476 LED at 449, which driving and speeding are not. California versus Farley, CED, period, RPT, period, 89. 20 CA 3rd, 1032, 1971. Sixth point, the state is prohibited from violating substantive rights. Owens versus City, 445 U.S. 662, 1980. And it cannot do by one power, e.g. police power, that which is, for example, prohibited especially to any other such power, in brackets, taxation, eminent domain, as a matter of law. U.S. and UT versus Daniels, 22P 159, nor indirectly that which is prohibited to it directly. Fairbanks versus U.S. 181, U.S. 283, 294, and 300. 7 point, traveling by an automobile on the public roads was not a threat to the public safety or health and constituted no hazard to the public. And such a traveler owed no other duty to the public, e.g., the state. He, she, and his, her auto having equal right to and on the roadways, highways, as horse and wagons, etc., this same right is still substantive rule in that speeding, running stop signs, traveling without license plate or registration are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses. Christie versus Elliott, 216 I 131, 74 HE 1035. IRA space NS 1905 through 1910. California versus Farley 98 CED space REP 89 20 CA 3rd 1032 1971. Eighth point. Under the United States Republic constitutional system of government and upon the individuality and intelligence of the sovereign, the state does not claim to control one's conduct to others, leaving one the sole judge as to all that affects oneself. Mugler versus Kansas, 1213 U.S. 623, 659, and 660. Ninth point, where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. Miranda versus Arizona, 384 U.S. 436, 125. 10th point, the claim and exercise of constitutional rights cannot be converted into a crime. Miller versus Kansas, 230 F. 2nd, 486, 489. 11th point, for a crime to exist, there must be an injured party, corpus delicto. There can be no sanction or penalty imposed on one because of this constitutional right. Sure versus Cullen, 481 F. 945. 12th point, if a tribunal court finds absence of proof of jurisdiction over a being in subject matter, the case must be dismissed. Louisville versus Motley, 2111 U.S. 149, 29 Supreme Court 42. The accuser bears the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. 13th point, lack of federal jurisdiction cannot be waived or overcome by agreement of parties. Griffin versus Matthews, 310 F. Supra, 341, 342, 1969, and want of jurisdiction may not be cured by consent of parties. Industrial Addition Association versus C period I period R period 323 U.S. 310, 313. Whereas in light of the foregoing jurisprudence, stare decisis and res judicator affirmed and declared by the Supreme Court decisions, by facts and by law, and counter to the negative and colorable social and political conditions instituted by, all capital letters in black ink, corporate state persons of the, all capital letters in black ink, Union State Society. There exists a blatant want of jurisdiction on the part of, all capital letters in black ink, Union States Rights Republic, USA, and by its agents, personnel, contractors, and assigns. Maximums and axioms are lawfully, legally enforced under national and international law attending to these issues. And this affant natural being in propria persona, so juris does not abandon any of my estate rights, does not waive any substantive rights, does not transfer power of attorney to any foreigner, and does not consent to any public trial or ministerial hearing in any colorable tribunal, venue, or involvement with any non-Article 3 unconstitutional jurisdiction. The official oath and bonds the obligations and the fiduciary duty of all accusers and proof-bound claimants to national constitution and treaty law and order. The civilization principles fixed in constitution law still stand. Definition and truth still rule. Non-compliance is a federal law violation and international law offense and trespass. Whereas there is no question that a bench appearance summons, a detention, an arrest, and a ticket or citation issued by a, all capital letters in black ink, police officer by others against the people for traveling with no driver's license, foreign driver's license, not having, all capital letters in black ink, current registration, or, all capital letters in black ink, mandatory insurance, etc., which, all capital letters in black ink, carries a fine or jail time, is a, all capital letters in black ink, penalty or sanction, and is indeed converting a right into a crime, thus violating substantive rights. It is reasonable to assume that these Supreme Court judicial decisions are straight and to the point, that there is no lawful method for government to put restrictions or limitations on rights belonging to the people, that the organic United States Republic Constitution derived from ancient Moabite Al-Moroccan Moorishe Law remains the supreme law of the land, and all treaties made of which shall be made under the authority of the United States government and under its flag of peace, pursuant to United States Code, Title 4, Chapter 1, any law or colorable process which are repugnant to the Constitution or treaty shall remain forever colorable and are null and void. Marbury versus Madison, 5 U.S. 137, 174, 176, 1803. No, in all capital letters in black ink, municipal officer, person, personnel, employee, or contractor shall attempt to violate nor abridge the rights of the natural people or citizens, and all are subject to court action and penalty in their personal and or subject capacity to wit. Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 13, Section 241 of the United States Code of Law, no person shall conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the constitutional laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same. Or no person shall go in disguise on the highway or on the premises of another with the intent to prevent or hinder his free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege so secured. Said attempt shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. No acts, violation of the law shall be attempted. Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 13, Section 242 of the United States Code of Law. Whoever, under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, willfully subjects any being in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any right, privilege, or immunity secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or to different punishments, pains, or penalties on account of such person being an alien, or by reason of his color or race, that are prescribed for his citizens, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year, or both. And if bodily injury results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include the use, attempted use, or threatened use of a dangerous weapon, explosive, or fire, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or for life, or both, or may be sentenced to death. Therefore, in preservation of the right of indigenous people and the preservation of the rights of the people in accord and defense of the Constitution for the United States at North America and her government being the supreme law of the land and primal to the contractual liabilities, affirmation, bound obligations, and fiduciary duties of the officers of the court, federal, state, city, and municipal, etc., I hereby activate and command the enforcement of the de jure laws of the United States and all treaties made under authority of the United States in accord with Article 6 of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Rights of the Child, the rights of indigenous peoples, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the United Nations Charter, Article 55C, the United States Supreme Court, Acts of State, the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act, 28 U.S.C. 1601, etc., sequel, the Convention on International Road Traffic, Day 19, September 1949, the World Court Decisions, The Hague, Netherlands, Day 21, January 1958, AD, equal 1378 MC, in Executive Order 13107. United States Republic, North America, the implementation of human rights treaties, the National Constitution for the Continental United States, Article 3, Section 2, Amendment 5, Liberty Clause, Amendment 9, etc. I hereby command and state a dismissal of any and all unconstitutional sanctions, claims, or other warrants or charges made or issued which are devoid of true identity, personages, no denial of due process of a trial by a jury of my own national peers, or absent of a verified and lawful indictment, sanctioned by an assembled grand jury, shall occur non pro tempore, and I hereby avail all lawful constitutional secure safeguards established by the supreme law with documented proper jurisdiction and venue, affirmed and in place by my own hand in my own Article 3 Al-Moroccan Empire State of Morocco Court. Wherefore, all parties of interest are authorized by this writ, pursuant to national and international law, to honor all substantive rights and constitutional immunities exercised for and to all original indigenous free and sovereign Al-Moroccan Moors, Murs. All officials are to enlist all available and appropriate measures to ensure and assure that all substantive rights and constitutional secure rights and immunities are honored. The sovereign natural being appellationed shall not be arrested nor held for any reason nor circumstances. All are hereby notified that we are active ministers of the original indigenous de jure sovereign empire state of Morocco and the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government at all territories of the organic land the natural being who has autographed hereon, and all mores are non-obligatory and not taxed, where custom, tariffs, taxations, owner and fees permit deception constructs, and from any other hindrance, encumbrance, or restriction of freedoms, allodial properties, compensations, rights of travel, or freedom of movement on the land. Explicit exercising at all times of our sovereign rights for me and all Moors, and use of all rights exercised without prejudice. UCC 1 plus 207, 1 plus 308. UCC 1 plus 103 is noted to all federal, state, cities, and municipal peace officers in harmony with Empire State of Morocco laws. Is the reservation of all sovereign rights. No contracts, no agreement shall be entered into knowingly, voluntarily, willingly, nor unintentionally without full disclosure for all parties. Furthermore, all presumed, in all capital letters in black ink, United States Corporation Company contracts are hereby terminated with the all capital letters in black ink, United States Corporation Company persons, and all agents, principals, heirs, or signs, and any derivatives thereof. On-sider, any formally assumed constructs alleged to be related to me as being misrepresentations and thusly cured forthwith. Let it be known. Represent means to depict, to portray, to symbolize, and to stand for. Let it be known that the, all capital letters in black ink, Union State Society, Bar Association, lawyers, esquires, and attorneys of European colonial descent and foreign, all capital letters in black ink, corporations cannot depict, portray, or symbolize a free Moor as, all capital letters in black ink, they are not of the same nation jurisdiction, customs, or national peers, and cannot sit in judgment of any free Moor acts of state. In all capital letters in black ink, corporations are not indigenous to the land. Moors are original. All capital letters in black ink, Union State Society, Bar Association, lawyers, esquires, and attorneys of European colonial descent operate in demo political format, which is contrary to Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution for the United States. Moors are the sovereign law and the sovereign government being in harmony with the Constitution. Moors govern, respect, and align with Constitution principles. The unconstitutional tribunals operating under the, all capital letters in black ink, Union State Society, conflict with and is repugnant to due process under Constitution principles, and functions in culpable fraudulent actions. Therefore, no equitable just trial or remedy is availed to the natural peoples of the land through such culpable processes. These violating acts constitute a conflict of interest, a conflict of law, a conflict of identity, and of nationality and international law, and clearly do not lawfully address the federal question or diversity of citizenship, while establishing that only proper original sovereign jurisdiction is a universal, original, indigenous, ancient, natural, divine, Article 3 consular court. Thus, a clear and documented averment of jurisdiction, quo warranto, is also hereby proclaimed, commanded, in advance to all parties of interest. Only we Moors can present ourselves, for we are sovereign Moors, our Moroccans, and original indigenes of the land. Thus, only Moors can present self. I, Durand Murrell Bay, being a real estate, living flesh, blood, ancient breath, giving divine and natural being birth, sanguinis, of a natural thinking, sovereign, living, ancient, divine mother, do solemnly, sincerely, and squarely affirm that the ancient laws contained in this constructive and actual judicial notice and proclamation by a firm affidavit are truth and law. This law is constructed by sovereign intention from my knowledge, interjoined to my culture, custom, interknowing, understanding, and ancient beliefs, being actual, factual, and restorative in nature to my ancient traditions and customs, presented our truth and holy truth and all that is truth, as with our ancient traditions and customs, I affirm to all. Okay, I'm gonna pronounce these words the best way I can. Hebrew, Habu, which is love, Hak, which is truth, Salam, which is peace, Heraton, which is freedom, and Adel, A-D-L, is justice, all rights exercised at all times and all points in time. UCC 1207, 308, UCC 1103. I am Durand Murrell, natural being and proper persona sui juris and sui heredes and solo proprio, original indigenous, free sovereign Moor, natural being of the land in proprio persona, not pro se, nor colorable, Moors, Murrells, the original and indigenous natural peoples, and true heirs and inheritors of the land. Since time immemorial and into perpetuity and in honor, I am the divine natural being, Durand Murrell Bay, in capitis diminutio nolo, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. And I do hereby affirm that I am an ascended heir, natural divine being, herein appellation, standing, living, existing, in propria persona, being the primal law of evidence as required and defined by law, affirmed by lawful standing right, by birthright, and respectively acknowledged, being of descendable and ascendable age and competence, and being lawfully qualified and competent to execute this document of affidavit. I therefore place my hand, my autograph, and my seal hereto, wherefore I, Durand Murrell Bay, in capitis diminutio nolo, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes, being part and parcel, named herein, and by birthright, primogeniture, and inheritance, make a lawful command of affidavit and public notification of nationality proclamation, appellation, notification, command, declaration, affirmation, and application herewith published for the public record. All sovereign original indigenous, ancient, divine, Moorish American autographs affirming this and all sovereign original indigenous, ancient empire state of Morocco and the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government documents are on the public record at Morocco, ancient Morocco, northwest of Mexico, northwest Africa, the North Gate, Turtle Island, Gaia, Midgard, Earth. Chronos, time immemorial into perpetuity. Ego Son, Durand Edward Murrell Bay, with his thumbprint. It has been a reading from the ancient document titled Empire State of Morocco, Universal Sovereign Original Indigenous Judicial Proclamation, Durand Edward Murrell Bay. That would be the end of this court action. I extend peace, love, and happiness to everyone. Y'all continue to have a peaceful, loving, high vibrational first day of the week, which we call Sunday. Peace, fam.